Welcome to the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast with your host, hailing from Kokona, Wisconsin, riding a CST tires, SSI decals, traveling back Yamaha YFC 450R, four-time ATV motocross national champion, number 25, Cody Jensen.
What's up, everybody?
We're back.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, episode 181 of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, presented by our title sponsor, CST Tires, in stock and available for purchase today at shop.csttires.com. I'm your host, Cody Jansen, saying hello to our nearly 304,000 monthly Digging Deep listeners in all 151 countries in which you are listening, and this is our Digging Deep Pleasure Valley 2026 race review show. The Pleasure Valley ATV National is one we've had circled on the calendar for a long time. And with so many storylines heading into the weekend, battles aplenty across the classes, and the addition of a relay race that ultimately stole the show, it more than lived up to the hype. So let's welcome the regular crew back to the show and relive all the action from the weekend that was. But first, let's quickly shout out all of our incredible partners. CST Tires, go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Launderville Steel Enterprises and Concrete Supply, DP Brakes, and Ultimate Poly Products. UPP Racing, our choice when it comes to case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com. Support all the great companies that support us, and for any products that fall through the cracks, click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website to help us out. No matter what off-road gear parts you need, Rocky Mountain ATVMC has you covered. But before you buy, simply click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner on our website. By using our specific link, we get a percentage of what you buy on the back end, enabling you to help us out while purchasing the parts you need anyway. And did you know you can buy OEM parts from Rocky Mountain ATVMC as well? Yep, shipped conveniently right to your door. So click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner at diggingdeepatvmx.com to help us out while satisfying all your gear and parts needs. Shout out to all of our donors. If you are interested in donating and hearing your name on the show, you can find the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee donation links on our website. Major thanks to all who have donated, of course. Now, if you can't donate, but you still want to help us out, you can leave us a rating or a review on iTunes and Spotify, because that helps us out a bunch too. One thing to note before we get started, this episode was recorded before Team USA officially announced their three-rider squad. At the time of the recording, we knew the team would be Joel Hetrick, Max Lindquist, and Zach Decker, but the announcement had not yet been made public. So just keep in mind that this conversation took place prior to the official announcement. For coverage since the announcement, be sure to visit our Digging Deep social media channels. And of course, congratulations to Joel Hetrick and first-time Team USA riders, Max Lindquist and Zach Decker. Now, it's showtime. The 30-second board is up. It's sideways and the gate is down. Time to dig deep.
Let's go.
All right, guys, back for another race review episode here of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, Pleasure Valley this time. And this one has been circled on the calendar for a long time. We knew that our Pennsylvania guys, Ohio guys, Brian Jenkins, Billy Cottage, were both going to be in attendance for this one. And Pleasure Valley is always one that we circle. Jeff Cernix and the crew there do such a great job. So really looking forward to this one. Of course, Billy and Brian back with us tonight, both brought to you by Valvoline, the original motor oil, celebrating 160 years of leading the industry on the oil side of things. And Brian, Billy, like I said, you were both in attendance, but one of you was a victor this weekend at Pleasure Valley. As Billy's on the podium, Brian's sending me photos of him up there. We watched on the live coverage online. It was awesome. I felt like we were together, even though I wasn't there with you guys. So Billy, congrats on the win. You and that Yamaha, man, that combo was just tight.
Yeah. Thanks. It's, the more time I spend on it, the more I enjoy it. It worked really good this weekend, obviously. Them guys made it hard on me yesterday on Sunday. I didn't get to start, so I had a little work to do. But, it was good. I had a blast. The track was fun. It was really fun. Got rough in some spots. They had that whole section after the start, and the big sweeper was really soft, got rough, got some ruts in it, and then had some old school hard pack stuff that it never turned to blue groove, which was weird. There was a lot of moisture in it.
Yeah.
But there was some slick spots. And as always, that, multi-line off camber that they got there, it had its victims again, like it usually does.
There's something about Pleasure Valley. I don't know why. Maybe it's just personal for me because I got my first win on a 450 there, my first national win. But that was 2008. So I mean, we're creeping up on 20 years, and it's just like Pleasure Valley is like sentimental to me. I don't know why. So like I was sitting here as you're talking about it, and talking about winning national all these years later in the 25 plus class, and Brian will echo all the same things. Like to be this many years down the road, still getting a chance to do this. I know, like I say this on so many of these shows, but like just the fact that we have a national series and we're still able to go to the races, still able to be with our friends. And that's something that I know Brian touches on so often on our shows as well. But like just to be able to still be making these memories with our friends and our loved ones, like it's just such a special thing, man. I do not take that for granted whatsoever. It doesn't matter. Every year I feel like I'm thinking about these same things. And I thought about that as you're sitting on the podium, Billy. Brian sending me these pictures. We post about it. You got all these people talking about, blast from the past, and he's still doing it. He still got it. Walsh said, Mikey weighed in. It was just a cool thing, man. That's what it's all about.
It was really cool. And I had fun. And like you said, making new memories and stuff. And it was actually kind of neat because Mallory and my kids were standing there on the bridge, and on the last lap yesterday, when I went by, I got to blow my kids a kiss when I went under the bridge, and they were pretty pumped about it. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's sweet.
Brian, you as well, man. Like I said, so many memories at these races. That's obviously a closer one for you. So I know that you guys have been, riding and racing there for forever. Another awesome weekend at the track. Weather was awesome. You guys got some rain on Friday, so then that affected the schedule a little bit, where the relay race didn't happen on Friday and ended up happening on Saturday. Seemed like the track was a little wet on Saturday morning, but seemingly came around, and there were some rough spots for sure. Like there was some, like that spot after the bridge, that straightaway there was rough as could be. The off camber, like Billy already mentioned, but the track really came around. It looked beautiful. Like we don't get those, and we talked about this, and Billy said like not all of it was blue groove. There was some hard stuff though, but we don't get a ton of those tracks anymore. So like when we do get that, and I know we talked about this when we had Muddy Creek as well, but I just love that we have some more diversity in the series than we used to. And Pleasure Valley's part of it. The hard packed, I love that. But hard packed, there's ruts, there's rough stuff, like a little bit of everything. And I love that about Pleasure Valley.
It developed a little bit different than it normally does, I would say, this year too. It was interesting because like Billy said, it didn't get blue groove per se everywhere, but what it did do was, you get your lines, your tire lines, and you wore down to the hard pack. And then it was like ice there. And then it was like a slot car. You're banging off the sides. So it was really slick. And I was trying to think like, what happened here? Why didn't we, get the formation of what we normally did? And I remembered, and I think it was probably because they were anticipating rain, maybe. But Jeff has always been the one guy that has carried on the tradition of he puts the hay bales out in the turns. So your first practice, it's all outside. And then your second practice, you have the middle open. And then the last practice, you have the inside open. So it developed like that, for a reason. And you would have all those lines, which I thought, it's genius because it's actually lines that then they stay an actual line throughout, where it's not like they all come together. What happens a lot of tracks where it has a lot of loom. And like Billy said, he must have mixed in a lot of like maybe sawdust or mulch or something. Okay. Because if you look at that off camber all the way from like before the bridge, all the way around that turn, and then all the way down to the hard pack jump coming out of there, it had such a dark color to it because it was holding moisture all day long. And it got so rough. Like, it got gnarly there in the Caterpillar off camber, the stepped, the holes that developed there. That was very deceptive how deep those actually were. Cause like Billy's class, I think he was one of the ones, they were like doubling those holes. It was so deep. It was crazy.
Yeah. I remember in the past, like there being, sawdust and wood chips and stuff on this track. You guys will know better than I. I've only been there a handful of times.
You'll find mulch.
Yeah, you could tell that that's what it was, or some form of that, like after the bridge and stuff, where it just became a death trap at times. But yeah, man, I really do love Pleasure Valley. Jeff takes a really lot of pride in that racetrack and making sure that people leave happy and all those things. And with the weather, I actually think, like you guys said, it developed the track a little different, but it made for some really good racing. Like I feel like you could argue this was some of the craziest up and down, back and forth racing, at least in the pro class, that we saw all season long. So I think all three of us were chomping at the bit to talk about the racing here tonight. So biggest takeaways. We've been starting these episodes this way. Biggest takeaways from the weekend. I'll start with Brian. Let's start with you, Brian. Biggest takeaway from the weekend? What you got?
Okay, I'm going to take a different angle. I'm going to say my man, Jeff Cernick. I got to throw him some props because him and like Jeremy Osborne are two guys that take such pride in their track and the sport that they do extra things. And I want to say that I really appreciated him putting the extra effort in to do whatever they called it, remix, relay race, whatever that was. That was absolutely amazing. And then the hot shot classes that they had for your moto Saturday, you could run whatever, but then they took your best laps to throw you in if you got into that certain, there was 3 stages of that you were able to get into.
So that's what that was. It was a lap time. It
was your best lap.
Gotcha.
On your So Saturday's moto, because I didn't want to say your first moto because you could have had 3 first motos for different classes as long as you fell into the category that you signed up for, and then you were submitted. So I really like the extra efforts for them putting that out there, and then the fireworks, like it's all appreciated. I don't take it for granted because, like you said, there's a lot of family, a lot of history. Same thing. I've been going there since I want to say we were 06 or 07 doing his PAMX series. So, I know Michelle and Jeff would harass each other all the time and go back and forth. And it was great times. And I probably should actually apologize to Jeff. I freaked out Saturday morning. I went running in there. I was like, Jeff, I need help. The whole shot flags aren't up. So he had to run out and put the whole shot flags up real quick for me for one of the amateur classes that I got a sponsorship for. So, just a monumental effort and a race that stands out because of his passion and what he puts into it.
So you mentioned Jeremy Osborne from Briarcliff, and Jeremy said
he was there.
Yeah, he was, and it was awesome to see Kinsey back in action and showing off her smile at the racetrack and having fun and all the things. But I talked to Jeremy yesterday, and he's like, "Damn it, that was so much fun. I wish I would have thought about it."
And he's like that.
So you're right. You're exactly right that those two are cut from the same cloth and come from the same mold with how they both want to do more. It's not just a cookie cutter national, get these ATV riders in and out. And I can really respect that.
I was very thankful that because we got just an absolute downpour on Friday that canceled things, which is why I didn't get back to you right away. I jetted and went to the rib place for some awesome ribs. So I couldn't get back to you. I had sauce all over my fingers, but so I was eating and I got back and I was so happy that they postponed the race till Saturday, which I think was a great move because then it allowed much more flexibility with everybody being able to watch and put a little extra effort. Some of them guys I heard only had one bike, so they didn't want to blow it up on that day as opposed to, before their race on Saturday. So, but it was great. The turnout was huge to watch that. And I'll be honest, at first I was a little bit upset because I was like, man, I want to race. And then I watched it and I'm like, I had more fun, I think, watching and, just laughing about stuff and seeing goofy mistakes or, great passes, everything that happened. It was awesome. So I can't wait to get into it. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, so we'll probably end up getting to that later in the episode. Billy was on one of the teams in the championship there, the final. We'll talk about that. But Billy, let's start off with your biggest takeaway from the weekend. Brian talked about Jeff and all his great things going on there at Pleasure Valley, making a special. What say you? Your biggest takeaway from the weekend?
That's probably the biggest takeaway. I would say he touched on pretty much everything I was thinking. Other than that, outstanding job, Mason Jackson. He rode extremely well. And it was funny because I was talking to his dad a lot and they were just saying how he didn't feel comfortable in the morning and stuff. And And it was weird because I told him, I'm like, it seems like he's riding like he's having fun. And he was like, yeah, I kind of told him that, like, you look comfortable and whatever. And in the first moto, I saw him and he kind of like gave me a look like, he's got it. And then that second moto, it was really cool to see him do that. And then that's got to help mentally for him moving forward to, lead them laps and stuff. And Joel was on him and Joel made a mistake and he left him again. And, it's not often that Joel can run somebody down and not just immediately go by and leave them. You know what I mean? So for Mason, that's really cool.
Hey, for the rest of the class, Mason Jackson peaking going into Baja is a really, really, really scary thing because that's a local race to him in Michigan. It's a track he's like been at and raced at. And I mean, not a ton of national guys have, right? Like right. Michigan, whatever. And so he's peaking at the right time. Like we had circled Baja at the start of the year for him. So for him to be going into Baja with a very, very hard fought podium, having led some laps and fended Joel off, all those things, he's going to be spicy, I would assume. But like you said, Billy, Brian kind of laid out how awesome the event was.
It was great.
You kind of echoed the same thing. So if I'm just specifically talking about the racing, I think it's hard to bring it down to one thing. I think that there's a big takeaway to be taken away from every one of the top 5 riders that end up being your overall finishers. And I can't believe, and this speaks to how good this event was, that neither of you mentioned the fact that Noah Arnold ends up in the top 5 as your biggest takeaway, because you guys you're basically talking about it at the beginning of the year.
I was going to get there. Later.
That we're building up.
You're building up to it.
At one point, he was almost on the podium.
I know he was. I know, like, things got very wild late in that moto where the math was very hard to do. It was very hard. So Joel had a point to prove following even, I think, Bud's Creek. He had a point to prove. And I think you saw it this weekend. The dude just kept going faster and faster and faster, whether it was qualifying, first moto, second moto. We saw Brandon really trying to give him a run. And Joel just kept going faster and to get to that kind of standard expected 10-second lead, which was very much not a given with how well Brandon was riding on a track. Correct. Conditions he's very good on. Brandon too. Is this the point of the episode where you just go into all this Team USA stuff that everybody's been talking about? We spent almost an hour talking about it before we hit record on this episode. It's the biggest topic in the sport right now. So I don't know what a person does or does not say. Like if you go off of the broadcast from the weekend, the broadcast told us that there was an announcement made about the team, which if there was, nobody else in the whole sport knows about it. We all know the speculation and the 3 riders that we think are probably likely on the team. The only reason why we do know that, the one part that we do know, and the one part everybody is talking about, is that Brandon Hogue is not on the team, was not invited to be on Team USA. He went on the internet and said as much. His team, Jeffrey Rastrelli Racing, confirmed it, all the things. So if that's as much as we're getting into it right now, and just to put this out there, because everybody was calling for it. Like I got a million messages saying, hey, we need to dig into this. We need to hear an episode about this, all these things. It was my determination that whether it was Harv, Whipple, Mark Baldwin, one of the head figures in the team there, the only way that we could do something at Digging Deep to bring any knowledge and education to the decision and where Team USA was at was to have one of those guys on to talk about it and to talk about if there is a decision already made, how did we get there? All that stuff. That was the only way we were going to do a podcast about it, because otherwise it was just talking about rumors and hearsay and all the things, which I wouldn't want to listen to that even as a podcast listener. We got really close to recording it and it never happened. So just to put that out there, we really tried. Hopefully it still happens. The other part that I think we do know is that announcement was supposed to be made about a week ago, and that hasn't happened yet. So maybe by the time this episode comes out, it's already been made. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of stuff going on there. That's a long way to getting to my second biggest takeaway is Joel had a point to prove, and so did Brandon, and he proved it because the way that he went out there and took that second place spot and clobbered the rest of the field in both of those motos kept Joel not in sight, but like, within a shouting distance or however you want to say it, but like really gapped the rest of the field in both motos. So Brandon had a point to prove, and point proven. So that's my second biggest takeaway. My third is the way that Mason fought. I posted about it this morning with a quote from the legendary football coach Vince Lombardi about leaving it all on the field of battle, and that feeling of laying on the field of battle at the end, victorious. And that's just the way that Mason looked. And not to give the spoilers to all the episode and all the things we're going to talk about, but the way he looked on the podium, having led the moto, fended off Joel, continues to lead, ends up getting this little get off, remounting, making enough passes into craziness at the end of the race. He ends up still being on the box. The way that he looked so spent on the podium, but to see it through for his third podium finish of his professional career, that's the quote that I'm just like, that's what it's all about. Doing everything you can, hurdles, getting up, all the things. And to be able to stand on the box at the end of it had to feel like a whirlwind, but he deserved it. And the way he fought back really stood with me. And then my fourth and fifth biggest thing, Joey Norris, how do you not mention it? I mean, we'll get to the details of it, but he finishes third in Moto2, finishes fourth overall, career best for him. And then Noah Arnold already mentioned it, fifth overall, goes 5-5 for fifth overall. So it's not like it was a fluke. He goes 5-5 for fifth overall, and he is no ordinary rookie. And then, I mean, we'll also talk about the races that those guys had on Sunday in the Pro-Am class, but some awesome racing to talk about. So qualifying, Hetrick, Hogue, Decker, Jackson, Lindquist was the way that qualifying went. That's the big five. We've been talking about them all season long. Let's get right into the pro first moto. And it's Joel and Brandon fighting for the whole shot, kind of the battle everybody I think wants to see at this point. Joel ends up getting it. He grabs the whole shot. Did anybody see the close call that Joel had coming out of the first corner? Oh my God. That could have been so bad. So Billy, if you saw it, like the way that he got up on the side there, like it looked like, I mean, whether he was going to hook the bridge, the lip, whatever it was, it got way too close for comfort. It's probably one of those things that Joel didn't even know, didn't even feel, didn't even whatever. But from the video angle, like I'm like, whoa, like that could have been bad.
Both starts, it was just balls is really what it was. And that first one, he come into that wall pretty hot. And I think that was like you were saying, he wasn't going to give it up. I mean, it kind of like he said, in the interview after Buds about that too, about Decker trying to come around him or whatever. And he's like, no, this is mine.
Nope.
And that's exactly what he did again. And it was sketchy, but he's Joel. So
he's Joel and he made it work.
He's Joel, and again, at that level, it's one of those things that happens, and you're like, "Oh, I don't even know. It wasn't sketchy, Like he's just so in control." So Joel and Brandon are making a break for it right away, and as they're making a break for it out front, Mason Jackson and Max Lindquist are duking it out already for third and fourth. That's when we get our first Zach Decker sighting. He's up to sixth, and at that point is when we lose Max Lindquist. Down goes Max Lindquist, and I didn't really see, and maybe you did, Brian, but I didn't really see what happened. I didn't know if those two, because the video missed it. The video coverage missed it. All of a sudden Max is down, but I didn't know if he caught tires with Mason or what the deal was. I wasn't really sure what happened there.
I didn't see it either. I thought he went down twice, if I'm not mistaken, but
he did go down twice.
I know he had some things happen that, well, I know he went down right after the bridge. He came into that and hooked at one of those. Okay. I thought it was first moto, but he had just had to get off, and then he had another one. So I was like,
so that must have been what happened. That must have been the second one, because the first one, him and Mason, I'm assuming got together or must have got close or something.
It was on the finger before the mechanics area.
Okay.
On the inside, I talked to him, and he said he accidentally ripped all of his tear-offs off and couldn't see and was reaching to rip tear-offs and couldn't see and ate it.
Oh, God.
And then he said the wheels were crooked to the right when the bars were straight, and he didn't realize it. And he's like, if he turned the bars to the right at all, he said the front wheels just went like 90 degrees to the right. And he's like, I hopped back on and took off. And he's like, and I turned a little bit and they just hooked. And
that's how he crashed again. Okay.
Yeah.
So that all does make a little sense, because at first I'm like, I don't know how he crashed where he crashed. So that makes sense. And then you could tell how bent the machine was, how twisted up it was, because he got on it and you could tell like the bars would turn and he was going straight. And I said to my wife, I'm like, he's not going to be able to, I mean, this is going to be a long moto with trying to ride that machine like that. Put it that way. On a fast racetrack, like such a fast racetrack, to ride a bent up quad, not an easy thing to do. So that Max Lindquist, we basically lose him from this moto. He ends up at the back of the pack. At this point, Joel is up 7 seconds. Brandon is kind of touching on the point to prove thing. Brandon was 7 seconds behind Joel, but going 3 seconds a lap faster than the rest of the field at this point. So those two were on an absolute mission. Zach Decker caught Wesley Wolf at this point. Wesley Wolf for fifth. So Zach Decker is on the move. He's trying to get some traction, trying to kind of run up through the pack here. He gets to the back of Wesley Wolf, which is not an easy thing to do. But just as quickly as he got to, or when he finally got to Wesley, he ends up getting stuck or stalling at the top of the off camber, like you guys talked about and kind of outlined, described to people. He gets stuck up there, and it's one of the only sections in the series that's like this, but there's nowhere to go when you're stuck and somebody is stuck in front of you. So Zach's stuck there. And behind him, Joey gets stuck there, and Adam Ulrich gets stuck there. They're all stuck in that top line, and that does help Noah Arnold kind of sneak around some of those guys. All of a sudden, Noah Arnold is in fifth place with 2 laps to go. That really created some chaos there, Brian, with what happened at the top of that off camber.
To say, I think that Joey actually got a good line and caught Zach. And as they were going through there, when Joey jumped one of those, he actually got into the back of Zach.
Is that what happened?
And stalled him out. And then it was like Zach, Joey, Ulrich, just kept going back and back. Because everybody was taking the top line.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
Competitively was taking the top line. There's only a couple guys that took a different line. Yep. So if they weren't looking ahead or looking over when they came up the triple and to see those guys stop there, they all got stopped. So anybody that took a different line had a benefit, because Joey and Zach actually had to get off the quads and pull them apart. And I think Adam got off to help too, because they couldn't get them apart.
So I didn't know, but from the video, I couldn't tell if those two caused it together, or if they were just so stuck together, by maybe Joey coming in and walloping. Gotcha. So that does make some sense. That's how the stall out happened. But however it worked out, all of a sudden Noah is in fifth and running top 5 late in this moto, and he is able to hold on to it. He had to earn it, but he was able to hold on to it at the end. So Joel ends up plus 12 seconds over Brandon. Brandon's plus 20 seconds over Mason Jackson, and then Wesley Wolf, Noah Arnold, Zach Decker, Joey Norris, Adam Ulrich, Cale Deal, who I didn't mention yet, had an awesome ride. He was running 7th at 1.8, ends up 9th in this moto. Heath Hanna 10th. Max Lindquist, like I said, isn't able to come back from what happened earlier in the moto for him, 11th, and Marshall Smith ends the race in the 12th place spot. So that's how that first moto goes. And if there wasn't enough craziness in that first moto, the second moto was just as crazy. Starting right off the rip, things are so much more fun in this class when Joel doesn't get the whole shot. To be frank. Sure. And he doesn't get the whole shot in the second moto. Joey Norris rips the whole shot in the second moto. So it's Norris, Jackson, Hogue, Hetrick, 1, 2, 3, 4 to start this one. And Mason Jackson makes the pass for the lead, and Mason tries to take off a little bit. There's a mistake by Brandon Hogue. He runs it too far into one of the corners there, blows the berm, lets Joel Hetrick by. So obviously Brandon, has Joel in his rear view for once, and or not very often. I shouldn't say for once, but not very often does that happen. He ends up blowing that opportunity. So Joel is by. Hetrick gets, so now Hetrick gets up to second. Hetrick pulls up on Jackson. makes it up to the back of Jackson. And then Brian, I'll let you kind of paint the picture from there, because Joel comes into a corner hot going into that off camber, and then a mistake by Joel ends up giving Mason another lead. And not often do we see something like that.
No, and I want to say before that, though, too, I give Mason a lot of credit because Joel came up the inside on the uphill staircase.
Oh, yeah.
And Joel actually had kind of like edged him out and pushed him to get that inside, from scrubbing and staying lower. So Mason went to the outside, and we all thought, of course, Joel had made the pass. Mason did not give up, came down the inside, pushed him out. So I think that was what actually set that up, was Joel thought he had the pass made. Mason never gave up and just held steady on them lines, never let off.
Masterful job. Masterful job. The way that Mason did not give an inch.
Yeah, right away.
Back. Because you're exactly right. I think, like, in theory, I really think that Joel's tires at one point were surely ahead of Mason's, and Mason having a bigger run around the outside, never gave up and was able to hold on to that lead for another lap or another corner or two. And then we see that mistake by Joel, and Mason's back in the lead and ends up having a 4-second lead.
Yep. Because Joel went into that turn and he was carrying so much speed, and they were right there together with each other again. Yeah. And he just happened to pop out of that berm, and he gave Mason that little bit of a gap. And he was lucky enough when he went out off the track, when he jumped back in, he came right back. I think he actually hit Norris because Joey was coming into that line, and it knocked him down to the bottom, then he had to drag race to get tucked back in behind Joel. Cause I can't remember who was in third, if that was Hogue at that time or who was there, but almost
Hogue. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what set all that up. And we were just like, oh, here we go. Now it's on again. And the same thing, it happened to where they get right back to that same position on the track, the uphill staircase. But this time Mason learned from the other one. So he made sure to take the inside so that he would come through, and they added this hump. So when he came out, he lost a little bit of traction, and it was enough that the quad, he was heavy on the throttle, and it stepped out. I really thought he was going to pull a Thomas Brown from years ago with the front flip and never let go. I thought he was going to pull that off, but he like rolled with it, and then he got back up, and then it tossed him, and of course the kill switch and everything came off. But what he probably went from first to ninth to 10th. Yeah. So that was a very, very gritty ride for him to get up and put in the work, because it seemed like he caught everybody so fast too. Yes. So like the battles that were in the meet, like I think it was like 4th through 8th were all right there.
Yeah, very much so. Billy, what a roller coaster for Mason in this moto, because he goes from, like I said, if you didn't fight exactly as hard as he possibly could, Joel would have taken the lead when he was fighting him for it. So then we all know that feeling of when you can hear a rider make a mistake and not be right on your tail anymore behind you. So he knows he's fighting with Joel. Then all of a sudden things go quiet, and he knows Joel isn't right behind him anymore. So he leads for another lap or two. He ends up leading 5 laps in this race. And then to have that, like Brian just painted perfectly for us, he ends up having that quad step out on him, flips over, and had to have been like, man, I was leading. I was in clean air for once, and now I make this mistake and I just blew it. And to re-rack it and to fight back is insane. But just that roller coaster of fighting Joel off for the lead, hearing Joel make this mistake or feeling Joel make this mistake, and then leading for a little bit more, and then making that mistake and thinking you blew your chance at a podium. Man, what a roller coaster of highs and lows. And ultimately he fights back, but highs and lows there for Mason Jackson, man.
I don't know what it was, but the low must have worked, because he was riding pretty angry after that. And like Brian said, them passes he was making them quick, and he was making them stick. And like you said, the math at the end, we're standing there. I got my phone out. My mom's next to me. She got her phone out, and we're like, and at every 4 turns, it was changing. And we're like, oh, no, it's this person. Oh, wait, no. Back and forth and back and forth.
So Mason was leading. He gets up. He goes back to 9th. He quickly makes some passes and is up to 6th, right? So Mason is up to 6th. And at this point, I'm like, podium is up in the air. Is totally up in the air right now, because with what happened to Max in the first moto, but now Max is up, is up in the top 3 to 5. Just a lot of jostling going on. And Then, because Joey too, like didn't have a great first moto. He finished 7th, I believe. So then, so not a good first, like just none of the math. It was all very even and like good first moto, bad second moto, bad first moto, good second moto. There was a lot of even things going on.
Like 9 to 10
yes.
was
exactly.
a lot.
So yes, exactly. So podium's totally up in the air. And then if it wasn't already up in the air, Max Lindquist makes a mistake late, drops from 3rd to 5th, moves some of those other guys that, had a little bit better first motos up a little one spot farther. And now I'm like, I have no idea at this point. I'm like, I think it's Mason. If nobody moves, I think it's Mason. But at that point, I'm like, it's really close. Any pass one way or the other, whoever it was going to impact the podium. So at that point, I'm like, I still don't know. I think it's going to be Mason. I'm just watching this play out. And then I convinced myself that I'm pretty sure if nothing changes, Mason is going to get this thing by a point. And 2 to go. It's Hetrick, Hogue, Norris. Noah had to earn it late. Like that was the part that was really interesting was Noah's 5th. And, Zach and Mason are right there. 2 of the fastest dudes in the sport are right there pressuring Noah. And Noah's able to hold on to this thing and bring it home for the top 5. That 6th is enough to earn Mason a spot on the podium. But holy man, was that crazy at the end of that second moto. So much fun trying to do all the math, all the ups and downs, all the craziness. Dudes right in a line. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. The part that we did know, Joel Hetrick again wins dominant fashion, perfect, never misses a step pretty much all day, all the things. Joel's awesome. Brandon Hogue too, second in this moto, was fantastic. Really distanced him, his stranglehold as the second place rider in the series on the rest of the field here. Joey Norris, can't say enough about him. 3rd in this moto, career best, like all the things, was amazing. He basically rode really, inside that top 5 for sure. That we see that mistake by Max late, but he put himself in great position all moto long, and it really showed through at the end where he's able to seal the deal with a 3rd place moto finish. Pretty awesome for him. Max Lindquist remounts for 4th, or I should say, gets the train back on the tracks for 4th in this moto. Ends up finishing 4th in this one. Noah Arnold 5.5, incredible. And then the rest of the field, Jackson does enough with that 6 for the podium. Zach Decker gets up to 7th, Ulrich 8th, Deal 9th. So another good showing for Cale in this one, the rookie. And then Heath Hanna 10th comes through in the 10 spot. Wolf, who I believe had a hole in his radiator, I think I saw.
That's what I heard.
So he ends up sitting next to the finish line. You could tell he was fine, but just wanted to get that machine across the finish line. So he was sitting there just to get points there at the end. He ends up 11th. And Marshall Smith, who had said only did 1 lap in the second moto. I'm not sure what happened to Marshall Smith, but it said he only did 1 lap in the second moto. He ends up 12th in the moto and 12th overall.
We'll get right back to the show, but now a word from our sponsors. And thank you for listening to these ads. Without these great companies, none of this would be possible. Show your support for the people who support us. The official tire choice of Digging Deep, CST tires are the choice of ATV racing's elite on the track, in the woods, and every other terrain. CST tires swept the ATV racing world in 2022 as Joel Hetrick, Bryson Neal, and Bo Barron rode their Pulse MXR and Pulse HT tires to an ATV Pro Motocross title, GNCC XC1 Pro title, and 10th ATV Pro Works Racing title, respectively. Led by champion Joel Hetrick and podium contenders Bryce Ford, Jeffrey Rastrelli, and Nick Janusa, CST's Pulse MXR tire is the most trusted tire in ATV motocross today. Available in soft and standard compounds, the Pulse MXR offers the highest level of traction, most predictable cornering, and superior wear characteristics when compared to the competition. And did I mention they have a contingency program as well? Visit shop.csttires.com to join the CST takeover today, or prepare to be beat by someone who did. The best of the best choose CST. Do you? You know we're Team Blue Crew here at the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast, as the Yamaha YFZ 450R is the official ATV of Digging Deep. In a move started by 8-time ATV MX Pro Class National Champion Chad Wienen, who with his next championship will become the winningest champion in ATV motocross history, we are living in ATV racing's YFZ 450R era. Alongside Wienen, 7-time GNCC XC1 Pro ATV National Champion Walker Fowler welcomed a pair of new champions to the Yamaha Champions Club as the podium-proven Yamaha YFZ 450R proved to be the winning choice for Joel Hetrick and Bryson Neal. This unprecedented success for the YFZ 450R, its unrivaled quality and performance, and the clear fact that Yamaha is the leading OEM supporter of ATV racing has resulted in a complete Yamaha takeover within the sport quad market. Evident by the continuation of Yamaha's Blue Crew Racer Support Program, Yamaha riders will once again cash in on payout and prize opportunities in 2023, including a chance to win a brand new YFZ 450R. For more info, head over to YamahaBlueCrew.com. Follow Yamaha Outdoors as well as the new Blue Crew official channel on social media, and check out Yamaha's full proven off-road lineup at YamahaOutdoors.com today. SSI Decals, your way. SSI Decals sets the standard with the best looking decals, graphics kits, and vinyl wraps in the industry. Established in 1947, SSI took shape as an offshoot of their parent company by doing a little work for local pro Chad Wienen. Nearly 2 decades later, and fueled by a passion for ATVs, the company has flourished into one of ATV Moto's most recognized brands. From ATV motocross, SSI has expanded into graphics and design work for top racers in GNCC, Works Racing, Pro Motocross and Supercross, Off-Road, and more, headlined by 8-time world champion top fuel drag racer Clay Milliken. Whether your project is big or small, SSI Decals will make your identity stick. Get started today at SSIDecals.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 for 10% off at checkout. Things are about to get sick. The Digging Deep ATV MX podcast is brought to you in part by DID and their wide range of championship-winning chains. From the street to the track and everywhere in between, DID chains are designed to give you the optimal riding experience with great performance and increased chain life. Consistent to the core, pick up your box of reliability today. DID, what drives you?
So, guys, let's look at the overall. So, Joel 1-1 on the day, his 83rd win as a professional at this point, 129th podium. The guy is just incredible. I don't know what else there is to say. He was fantastic. A game or a day of twos for Brandon Hogue, another 2-2 day for him. 10 second place finishes this season in motos out of 15 tries. The outliers, and I posted this online already, the outliers are a moto win against Joel Hetrick at Sunset Ridge, third place finish in the first moto to Max Lindquist at Budds Creek, where he got a bad start and fought his way to third. And then the other ones are at the opening round of the season where he didn't have his full team and suffered a DNF in the first moto when it looked like he was destined for a second place finish. So that's a long way of saying Brandon Hogue, he has been second and second and second and second and second again. And the dude has been absolutely fantastic. I don't know what else the dude has to prove, but Brandon Hogue, and I'll give you guys a chance to speak on Joel, Brandon, or anybody else right now, but there's nothing else to say about the guy. Not that his team had to prove themselves to me, but there is nothing else to prove for Brandon Hogue in that program. Whatever the expectation was for Australia Racing and Brandon Hogue, this merger with Williams Performance, we're doing the engines with Dave Porter wrenching on these things and doing so much behind the scenes. Whatever the expectation was for this team and this collaboration together, they have far surpassed it in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. He looked good. And it was kind of strange. He still even looked down a little bit after performing so well. And I'm sure it's still just emotional and stuff with the whole Team USA thing and
it's heavy.
All that deal. And I'm sure it is. But man, he looked good. It was really fun to watch. And like you said, he did have something to prove. And the bike worked really good. He looked good. Another person I want to touch on, Zach. I don't know what happened with his starts, but they struggled because in the morning in qualifiers and stuff, he looked good.
He did. He qualified awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And he looked, on pace and he was smooth. And so I don't know exactly what happened. He didn't get great starts. I know that, but I expected more out of him after that qualifier. I thought he was going to be up there in the mix a lot more.
Well, it took a really lot, not to interrupt, but it took a really lot for Brandon to cut a lap time better than Zach in qualifying. So I really thought that we were in for a day where, because Zach is really good on the hard pack stuff. How many times have we said it? And then his day just never played out that way. And like you're touching on, the starts had a huge thing to, they were a huge part in that, the starts.
I know a lot of people, still struggle a little bit with the greats because when do you ever get to practice those?
Yeah, never. You never do it. Yeah.
Right. That might have had something to do with it as well. And my boy Noah, 5'5", man.
Oh, yeah. You guys called it. Brian, did we not? Brian, you were on the show last year talking about your experience on these greats. So how did it go this year? Was the experience better than it was a year ago?
No. So I was waiting to add to that about Decker and possibly having a problem on the start and getting out. And I just want to say that once again, first moto, I came out. I thought I did all the right things. Soon as I got to the dirt, bloop, stalled. Really? I mean, I was literally over the gate and everything. And so now I'm at a total of 2 of 6 because Moto 2 then, I think Detling was off to the side and he was like, how high were you in the revs? And I was like, I do what I normally do that always works. And I normally get very good hole shots.
Yeah, I know you do.
But this is weird. It's cement and grading. And like he said, Mason had struggled in the morning. So they had to do some different things. So he shared some things with me to try and, maybe make my second experience a little bit better. Because like you said, we don't get to practice. I didn't get to race Georgia. So that was the other track that had grates, a style of grates, not the same. These are just huge grates laid down side by side by side. So there's grading all the way across. And honestly, I'd have probably been better off just to take dirt and shovel it onto the grading and then have been fine that way. But Moto 2, I did get a much better start and I was just happy to keep it going. So if Zach had some problems starting, trust me, I get it. There was a lot of people actually that came up to me and said that they did the same thing or they had a lot of problems. So unfortunately, those woes continue. I mean, I love that track. I've always, for the most part, had great results there. My biggest complaint is we have to, and I know this is going way ahead, but come time for the riders meetings at the end of the year and stuff going on, we need to actually have a way more serious approach and a fairness to, obviously they're going to have to come out and water these tracks and do certain things, but I am tired of it being made dangerous for anybody that has to go out when they're done, because the only person that does a good job to spritz a track and miss the faces is Bob at Sunset Ridge. The rest of these guys, just all they know is wide open water and shut off. And it's with a hard packed track, we were all going off faces sideways and having problems, and they did it throughout. And as shortened as our moto day is with all the classes they got rid of, I had told Joe, actually, Messina, this. I said, listen, do you think anybody's going to have a problem with you going out? If you're going to water it like that, take the time to go out and flip the track. Or, they had that, it was like a real fine tiller that they dragged behind the one tractor that churned it up. And
it was awesome.
Which was awesome. I was like, take that out after the water truck and just flip it. Like it would be so much better, and it wouldn't be as dangerous as what you guys are doing when you do that. So that was, the one thing that I'm kind of irritated about, because I love that track. And I did, we had the dry track, we had the stuff that, I'm excited to go out and be able to do the jumps and do these things. And then we went out there and it was an ice skating rink and we literally couldn't jump anything. Like even the tabletops coming out of the far back corner.
Yep.
I had so many guys say, I just closed my eyes and prayed I was landing it because, it's long, short. And he's like, we were sideways this way, like, just hold on. The only thing that saved us was it was so wet when you landed, you slid sideways and gathered it up. But, sketchy. So anyways, back to the greats. If Zach had a problem, I get it. The one thing I thought of when I watched him ride, because I knew he had a ton of speed, I felt like he got lulled into the pace of the person in front of him for some reason.
Which happens.
And it does happen.
Yeah.
And I know, I will tell you this, that Moto 1, the guys weren't catching the lines either. That's one of the things that I saw at Pleasure Valley that I really caught on to was I watched Joel, and even Brandon didn't catch it. There was some lines that Joel took and made and was making that some people caught on and some people didn't. And they were passing lines. So like that first turn, like you guys were saying, under the bridge when you came through and made a right, it was so choppy through there for those pros, that first moto. And I caught what Joel was doing. You came through, it was so thick. Once you went through the turn, you couldn't get out and you were stuck in the middle or the right side of the track. And it was horrible. What Joel was doing, he was squaring up and hitting the berm and going over it and jumping out to the left on the fluff of the track. It was smooth out there. And then going all the way down off over the hill, and making his own line. It was smooth as can be. So I know he was taking time there from everybody, every lap, because there was only 2 or 3 guys that seen it once the line started to actually be able to be seen, that started popping that and doing that. Gotcha. So there was a few areas like that, though, that there were lines that the guys weren't catching on to.
Well, that's why he's the best. He sees things different than everybody else does. Go ahead, Billy.
Him hugging that inside on the turn before the mechanics too was the same way, because the train tracks, the berm took you so far out of the way towards the mechanics, you had to almost swerve to come back on the track to go down the hill.
And there was that huge kicker.
Yep, and it was slower. It was slower for him to hug that inside, but then it was a perfect straight shot down over the hill.
He made it up going down.
Yeah. He cut the track, 30 feet off of that turn.
Yep.
I mean, not cut the track, not.
No,
like vegan, but
he cut the distance. Yeah, go inside the markers. We're good.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, like you said, Brian, track was crazy rough. That's one of the things that makes Joel as good as he is he's able to see things differently than everybody else does. But the track was racy, but you couldn't just fall into line. Like there was lines all over the racetrack where it looked like those were just the lines everybody was taking. And if you could bounce out of those lines and find something a little different, that's where there was time to be made there. So we talked about Mason Jackson at length. He ends up 3rd overall on the day, his 3rd overall podium finish of his career. So super stoked for Mason and the TDR team there. He did awesome. That 3.6 is enough. 3.6 isn't always enough, but on this day, 3.6 was enough to get the job done for a podium. So awesome for him. We talked about Joey as well. He goes 7.3 for 4th overall. So he was that close to the podium as well. He was right there. One pass would have made the difference, but he ends up with 4th overall, which is a career best for him. So Joey rode awesome and deserves a ton of credit. Noah Arnold, 5.5 on the day, 5th overall for him. He is no ordinary rookie. Like I said, he's been on a tear and just looks better and better. He looked like all day long, he just looked like he kind of was going to be one of the guys. And early in the season, we were trying to figure out, if he was going to be in the top 5, how would that all play out? And the way it played out on this day was pretty straight up. I mean, he got a little bit of help late in that first moto, but he earned a top 5 spot by being 5.5 in the motos and ending up 5th overall. So credit to him, man. Awesome to see. Zach Decker, we talked about that. His starts didn't help him. He goes 6.7 on the day, ends up 6th in that first moto. That's where he was when he stalled it. I think he had to make one pass to get back up there. But just a very trying day for Zach Decker. Ends up 6th overall for Zach. 7th overall, Max Lindquist. We talked about how first moto wasn't what he was looking for. Was in 4th, ends up suffering that crash. Super bent up machine, ends up 11th. Second moto is running 3rd, makes that mistake, ends up falling back a position or 2, ends up 4th when the dust settles. So he goes 11.4 on the day for 7th overall. Does Max Lindquist. 8th, Wesley Wolf, stellar first moto, 4th in the first moto, DNF basically in the second moto. So he goes 4.11, and this is just showcasing all these up and down finishes. He goes 4.11 in that second moto for 8th overall. 9th overall, Adam Ulrich ends up 9th overall, 8.8 for 9th. So like not the way you want the math to work out, but 8.8 for 9 is Adam Ulrich. Still a good finish for him though. 9th overall in this pro class is impressive. Cale Deal deserves a bunch of credit as well. Hasn't been at a ton of these races. Is still very early in his own season, quote unquote, as a rookie. rookie. Ends up going 9.9. Again, not the way you want the math to go. 9.9 for 10th overall, but was consistent. I would say he looked better, looked faster than his first time out in the pro class. And the few times we've seen him already, Cale Deal looked really good. So 9.9 for 10th overall for Cale. Heath Hanna goes 10.10 for 11th. Again, not the way you want the math to work out, but 10.10 for 11th. Marshall Smith goes 12th for 12th. And John Glada did not start either moto. I think only rode in the first qualifier, it looked like. So I don't know if it was an injury or something like that. But something must have happened in that first qualifier to have him kind of shut down his day there for the GNCC guys. So guys, only two motos, or two overalls, two races left in this season, which we said last week is a hard thing to think about. Joel is now up 74 points on the field. So that means that we are very, very likely looking at a Baja wrap-up job for Joel. Title number 7 is likely going to be wrapped up 2 weeks from now. And the way that the math works out, with a moto win in that first moto, he could wrap it up after the first moto there, because he would be up 75 plus points, and Brandon could win the last 3, and Joel would still have enough of a gap to win the title. So all eyes are going to be on Joel Hetrick in that first moto at Baja. He could wrap this thing up. Crazy to think that we're already there.
Yeah. How much have you seen of Baja? Because I talked to a couple people. I know Mason rode there some. I know I talked to Max a little bit, and he said he rode there once, and from what he was telling me, it's almost like spitting image of Redbud. He said like the dirt's the same, big hits like Redbud. The track develops the same.
Even the dirt bike guys, I even heard many of them this last weekend, like younger riders, like from the Midwest or whatever, comparing Baja to Southwick, where like there can be a harder base, but like there's a lot of obviously sand on top. And I think everybody, because like even like they've had some like local races with ATVs once or twice, but like I think everybody is very curious to see how thrashed this track is going to get, because I mean, obviously like you guys saw, what was that race in West Virginia or wherever you guys raced?
Tomahawk.
So you guys saw Tomahawk. Now I know that this is totally different than that, but you guys saw Tomahawk and how gnarly that got. We all been to Redbud. We've been to Walnut. We've been to Etchicani. We know how bad that gets. But like, I feel like this could very much be like that. I think everybody is basically like, hold on, because Baja is going to be gnarly.
Give me a Tomahawk again. I am down.
I don't know that it's going to be like that. I think it's too sandy. I was just saying that everybody has seen how rough some of those tracks get.
Yeah.
Tomahawk got super rough, but I think it is going to be, cool. Like I like the variation in the series. Like we talked about, like I like that we got Etchicani as a sand track. Obviously Baja is as well. I like that we have some hard back tracks like Muddy Creek, Pleasure Valley. I mean, we know Iron Man and some of that stuff is. I like that we get a little bit of everything. We have more variation than we used to have, and going to another sand track is going to be a cool thing. Like there is definitely some big jumps. There's like that big double, like make or break double in the middle of that racetrack. Like I saw, it looked like Mason was having to hit that thing friggin' licked. So I don't know. We'll see how it develops with a whole crew of ATVs out there. But my expectation is that it's going to get gnarly, and that's cool.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know about that. Like, and that's cool. That's cool in one sense, but hey, you know what I just thought of? I'm like Moto 3 there, so I'll be okay. So hopefully I won't be subjected to the possibilities of what that could turn into. I mean, we all know, like you said,
nobody wants to be late in the day.
We've been to Redbud. We know what some of these tracks can turn into. Like, I'll be honest, I can't believe Billy loved Tomahawk. Tomahawk was a nightmare for me. Maybe it was because I compared it to, I had been there years and years before, and I actually had a great time. It was one of those kind of weird tracks that just it didn't have the greatest flow, but it was just big and wide open. So it was a lot of rolling stuff that you just got used to carrying speed and finding lines that you could keep your momentum going, because the jumps weren't perfect. You know, some of the turns and like the little peaks and valleys weren't exactly right. So it was a quirky track, but I got to where I really liked it. And then when I went again, they put all that stinking mulch on it. And it went from, you know, something like an Etchicani where you start out, it's perfectly smooth. And by the end of the day, you're literally like, which honestly, Tomahawk was the worst I'd ever seen for this, but the pros were going slower than I've ever seen in my life because everything was like a double.
Yeah. You guys were doubling down the straightaways. Yeah.
It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like that.
Billy likes it.
I hope that's not
like that.
Well, anything that slows the race down helps me.
How can you say that? Funny. You just won at Pleasure Valley.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the slow technical stuff. I don't know.
We went down the Tomahawk rabbit hole, but like, I don't think that's what we're getting. Like, bringing it back to Billy. I think you're going to it's going to be more Red Bud than it is Tomahawk. But
I'm going to be like 6 motos from the end. So
I'll cheer you on.
No. 25 plus is like race 7 or something. Like
it goes every other, right?
Yeah, but like somehow 25 plus is like 7 and 9.
Really? I didn't know that.
6 and 8 or something. Yeah, because even I'm like, okay, I'm like looking this up. I'm like, man, I hope that we're not like way late in the day.
Yeah,
we should be 7 or something.
Wait, you're coming?
Yeah, Baja. Yeah.
Heck yeah. All right, sweet.
Yeah, it's a Midwest race. Like we don't miss Midwest race.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a long way from Wisconsin because you have to go around the lake, down to Chicago or whatever. But yeah, we'll be there. But yeah, so that'll be cool. I think it'll be more Red Bud than it is Tomahawk for sure. Right. So should be a good time. But yeah, very much like all eyes are going to be on Joel. He's going to want to wrap that thing up as early as possible, and then all the pressure can be off the rest of the way. Brandon Hogue, great points day for him. Obviously, with everything else going on, we don't have to re-rack it and talk about the way that he's been on the comeback trail all the way from the beginning of the season, because he had a terrible points day, as bad as it could have went at that first race. But he comes all the way back and now has a 17-point gap over the rest of the field. So he's really, really, really in a good place as far as this points goes, and obviously would be a career best for him finishing second in the series as we have 4 motos remaining. Max Lindquist now sits in the 3rd spot. He is plus 21 over Mason Jackson, who's 4th, and Jackson now has a 4-point gap over Zach Decker. So I'll echo what I said last week. I don't know if those two guys care about being 4th and 5th in the series, but needless to say, they are still very much locked in a battle for 4th and 5th in the series as we're kind of nearing the end of this thing. So I hate to think about that. Guys, earlier I referenced that we saw some obviously awesome racing. The pro class, we saw Joey Norris finish 4th in the pro class. We saw Noah Arnold finish 5th in the pro class, 2 top 5 guys. We knew that they were both going to be coming into Sunday looking for the win in Pro-Am. We saw them. They're basically with their throwouts. I referenced this online at one point leading up to the race. They're basically tied going into this one. And then things couldn't have really been any closer the way that the motos played out, because Joey Norris gets a very decisive win in the first moto on Sunday. Noah Arnold ends up coming back, and what a Noah Arnold thing to do, where he gets pretty beat in the first moto, and then the second moto is able to fend off Joey the entire moto. And these guys have just raced so many times. It must just be a thing that they do. But yeah, he's able to keep Joey at bay for the rest of, for the entirety of the second moto. And actually, Joey got the whole shot in that second moto, and Noah is able to make the pass on him, ends up winning that second moto, winning the overall, and now is the points leader in the Pro-Am class with 2 races remaining. And man, this Pro-Am championship fight has lived up to the billing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm excited for this one. These guys, like you said, they've been at it forever. They race each other nonstop. So I'm excited to watch this one play out.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens at this next race, because now that's what happens with these races that are so close going down the stretch. So now going into this title fight with 2 races remaining, now Noah has the advantage. Noah, and he hasn't really used a throwout. That's the other thing that Joey doesn't have going for him, is he used a throwout earlier in the year when he didn't race at Muddy Creek for whatever reason. So Noah has been 1-2 in every race all year long, where Joey has a 0. Basically. So that uses up his throwout. So Joey is kind of in a position where he needs to win each of the last 2 overalls, because by winning at Baja, that would just get him even again.
And then it's winner take all at the finale. So the pressure is on for Joey Norris, and he's going to really need to get it done at these last two races. But I love this stuff. Like, I love when these title fights come down like this, man. Like, it, especially for a Pro-Am title, like, it doesn't get much better than that. Two guys that are finishing in the top 5 in the pro class, battling for a title in the Pro-Am class. Like that's awesome stuff right there.
I know who I'll see at Briarcliff the next practice day. Both of them guys.
Of course. Well, I thought about that.
It come down to that one.
Exactly. I thought about that too. And then they both have to race at like their own local track against the other local guy for the finale. Like, what an awesome thing. Yeah, no advantages there.
Might as well blindfold yourself and flip a coin.
Exactly, no advantages there. But what I was going to say is this should be a real blast coming down the stretch, and the pressure is on, and it's going to be fun to watch. We saw these championships in Pro-Am and Pro Sport come down to the wire last year. We're kind of seeing the same thing again. It's awesome to see.
Wouldn't want it any other way, though. You know what I mean? And especially between two really good friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to have fun with it. I'm sure there's a lot of smack talk going on. I'm sure there's those pits are going to be fun, and you know, those guys, they're going to revel in it. So that's going to be something to as bystanders and you know, fans of the sport, we're going to get to watch it play out on the track. So that's going to be great for us.
The other thing, and Billy, you can jump in there too, but the other thing I was thinking about is I was watching things play out yesterday, Sunday for Pro-Am. I'm thinking, man, like, and they both had great days on Saturday, right? 4th and 5th overall, respectively, between Joey and Noah. But I'm like thinking about Joey, you know, he finishes 3rd in the second moto of the pro class, 4th overall. So like very high highs. What wins in like pretty kind of dominant fashion in the first moto of Pro-Am, and then finishes second right behind Joey. And right behind Noah. And he put on a really, really hard push at the very end of that, at the end of that second moto. Like last lap, he was going all out and just never got an opportunity. But that being said, I'm like, man, if I was Joey, I'd be bummed right now. Like, what an awesome weekend, such a great weekend for him, and then doesn't get the deal done in the second moto. And he's on the podium and he was happy. And I'm like, you know what? That's awesome, because both of those guys were stellar. Like I just said, they're top 5 pros, at least on this weekend. They were top 5 pros racing for the Pro-Am, racing for the Pro-Am overall win. And the fact that like Joey knew he left it all on the racetrack, and that meant he got second on this day. And I was just glad, like his demeanor was cool. Like as much as I thought about like maybe he was going to be bummed, he wasn't bummed, because like he left it all out there, and second was what it was, and he lost to his buddy. And that championship is going to go on to be decided, you know, shortly here down the road. But it just, the demeanor was cool. He wasn't sulking at all. It was with a smile on his face. That was the best he had. And that was cool, because those dudes are like even. They're like dead ass even.
It's fun to watch, because you never know what's going to happen. And it's most of the time when it's like that, you just say, well, it depends on who gets to start. Well, with them, it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter. Yeah, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. So that was the Pro-Am class. Pro Sport, lot to talk about. A lot to talk about here in Pro Sport. Maybe first, right out the rip, we talk about Landon Korn and this triple jump thing, jumping that double into a triple. And he did it multiple times. And then he did it after he crashed. And like, it sure made the internet talk about how cool it was, but I don't know that it was the smartest decision. And I should mention that Heath Hanna got 3rd overall in Pro-Am. So credit to Heath, because he had to make some passes and really fight for that. So that was awesome, and credit to him. That being said, back to Landon Korn. Landon had a weekend that he would probably rather forget. You know, like I said, everybody was talking about the fact that he jumped this thing on Friday, and he did get opening moto win in the Pro Sport class. And after that, it really went downhill, and he's kept it so together all year long. He kept it together, and we were kind of like not waiting for it. I was very impressed that like he had gotten over this thing of these mistakes and maybe riding a little extra crazy and all the things. And it's like, it just all came to a head on one weekend. It just all like the wheels fell off.
Well, I know that in previous years, Pleasure Valley's been a track for him that he likes to, kind of let it hang out.
Freestyling.
He's out there freestyling, and he does. He has fun in practice. He hangs it out there, man. He rides loose, fast and loose.
He was riding loose. I'll tell you that.
We all seen the video. If he wouldn't have made the quad himself,
it's been so bad. Oh yeah,
it would have been like, I don't know that he'd have got up. Like, there was so much speed in that, and the way that it kicked him, like it all came together that it worked out for him.
Killer dismount. Yeah.
So maybe he was sore. Maybe there was some problems there that we didn't know about, as far as with him on the quad after that. I don't know, but
I just hated to see it. I just hated to see it because he's been so good. Like, we don't need to do that.
Yeah. And it's obvious how talented he is. He's apparently, though, the guy that if there's something out there that's possible, you might think it's possible, he's going to try it.
I love how Jeffrey was
his dad's got to hate that, because that's going to tear up some bikes right there.
I love how Jeffrey was like, you're going to need to get that prescription checked for your eyes, because whatever you're seeing, you ain't seeing it right.
I'm going to be honest. If that roller wasn't there after you come out of the turn, like before those doubles, he could have made it to the landing,
to
like
the quad.
Yeah. And that would be so much smoother. Like, even best case scenario, landing on the backside of that face, it like can't go well ever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because of how abrupt that landing for the second double was. Yes.
Right.
So I'm hoping, as I see the video, I'm hoping he just wanted to do it once and then that's it. But, wasn't a one-time deal. And you're exactly right. Like, if that roller wasn't there, you lost so much momentum with the roller. So like, even watching the video, I'm like, he's not going to still send that. And then he still sent it. So like I said, I couldn't wait to be like, man, he kept it so together. And on one weekend, it kind of just all fell apart, because we saw in the second moto. So that was Friday. Second moto, there's multiple, wins the first moto. So crashes on, jumping this crazy jump on Friday, wins the first moto on Saturday, crashes multiple times in the second moto on Saturday. And then Sunday, has multiple crashes and stuff too, rebounds for a solid second moto on Sunday. But Landon Korn, your points leader, like, if the things still stay together, he should win the championship, all the things. But like, we need to keep this thing on the track, buddy, to win this title. So let's hope that everything is going to stay together here before the end of the season. Are you guys still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. You're frozen on my end for a second. So to tie a bow on the rest of this pro sport class. So Andrix Bieland, awesome ride for Andrix, right? 2-2 on the day, comes back from
ride.
Huge injury, like huge situation at Ironman. He's all busted up, comes back and goes right to the top of the board, winning the pro sport class. Awesome showing for this kid. Was on a 250 last year, and awesome showing for him in this pro sport class. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Good for him. That was a great ride too. Like, he held it together very well.
Yeah. In the second moto, he knew he had the math done. He knew he didn't need to win for the overall, which was cool. Smart, very smart. But he looked good. Good for him. His dad, I talked to his dad a lot. We're buddies, and they were really, really excited, which they should have been. Exactly.
They should be. To be that young doing this in the pro sport class, again, obviously top amateur class, one of the top amateur classes, and be overcoming that injury and all the stuff, like, that was really gnarly. So credit to him. They knew they didn't have to win the second moto, but like, you don't mess with my guy. Second motos, he's Carter Buff, man. Carter Buff is just on a run right now. And I feel like I am leading the
charge, the fan base.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think I'm leading the crew here that's behind.
You're driving the bandwagon.
I'm driving the buff instead of driving the buff. Yeah, exactly. I love it. I'm driving the buff bus. So in this guy, like, again, I've never talked to this dude. So I'm sure he's like, what is this guy's deal?
I didn't realize you never talked to him.
No, I have never talked to this dude. So I've often thought he's got to be like, what is this guy's problem? But it's just that I'm just a Carter Buff fan. So Carter Buff goes 5-1 on the day for second overall. So awesome showing for him. He's been battling for moto wins, overall wins, on the podium. Basically, ever since we really saw him flip the switch at Muddy Creek, he's been very much in the mix. And he was racing with Heath Hanna on Sunday with a podium hanging in the balance for the Pro-Am podium as well. So he's been awesome. So glad to be on the buff bus. Jeremiah Newton, he ends up rounding out the podium, going 4-3 for third overall is Jeremiah Newton. Ian Juka ends up fourth. That's notable because that's the pick that we were predicting for our fantasy wild card. So Ian Juka got fourth overall. So those who predicted that Ian Juka would finish fourth overall, you got 25 points. Jeremiah Newton and Landon Korn. Landon goes 1-8 for fifth overall. So if you picked either Jeremiah Newton or Landon Korn, you got 10 points. And
I had Newton.
Yep, so did I. So I thought Newton would be a good pick there. He ends up getting third. We were looking for fourth, but you still got 10 points for Newton and 10 points for Korn. And then Zach Nadarani got 5 points, being on the 2 off spot on the sixth side. And then Carter Buff was 2 spots off on the second place side. Pro Sport was awesome to watch. That's been the most fun of anything for me for fantasy purposes. That's been a blast.
For over 150 years, Valvoline has been dedicated to constant improvement and innovation across all disciplines of racing. As a proud member of Team Valvoline for nearly a decade, I have witnessed their unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of performance. Valvoline has sponsored some of the greatest names in motorsports, solidifying their position as a powerhouse within the industry. Being a part of this historically great team has been an incredible privilege. When it comes to my equipment, whether it's my daily commuting vehicles, race quads, or anything in between, I trust nothing but Valvoline. Their range of products and lubricants consistently deliver increased horsepower, durability, and engine life. I'm excited to announce Valvoline's breakthrough in performance, Valvoline Ultimate Power Sports. With up to 8 times stronger rust protection and 50% better wear protection, this cutting-edge formula ensures your ATV's engine runs smoother and longer for the ultimate ride. Tackle rugged terrains with confidence, knowing your ATV's engine is equipped with the best protection available. Ready to experience the next level of performance? Head over to shop.valvolineglobal.com and use code DIGGINGDEEP10 at checkout to unlock an exclusive 10% off on your purchase. Don't miss out on this limited time offer to enhance your ATV's performance with Valvoline's Ultimate Power Sports engine oil.
Hey everyone, this is Larry Mills, president of DP Brakes North America and proud partner of the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast. We at DP Brakes are a longtime supporter of ATV racing and the world leader in sintered brake technology, dominating the ATV world for decades by supporting the best four-wheeled racers on the planet. This year's lineup includes Jeff Rastrelli, Mark Baldwin and Baldwin Motorsports, Ford Brothers Racing, Nick Janusa, and many more, including Mr. Digging Deep himself, Cody Jansen, plus all the top 17 GNCC pros such as 7-time champion Walker Fowler, Bryson Neal, Hunter Hart, Cole Richardson, Jared McClure, Adam McGill, and previous champion Chris Borich. These top riders continue to appreciate the high performance and impressive durability that their DP brakes have to offer, products that ultimately help place them on top of the podium week after week. DP brakes are available through www.dp-brakes.com, or you can purchase them through your local Parts Unlimited stocking dealer, or you can even message us, myself, Larry Mills, or DP Brakes on Instagram or Facebook. And if you have any questions about product or sponsorship support, please ask us. We are waiting for you. Join the best ATV riders in the world equipped with DP Brakes, and have a great year, everyone.
Headlined by the 4130 Chromoly, Launderville Steel and Concrete Supply is a full-service steel supplier of new and surplus steel, aluminum, and stainless steel products. This racing family-owned full metal service center and concrete product supplier comes with over
30 years of experience serving the entire United States from their central Midwest location. As the number one choice for nationwide shipments and with available next-day delivery in select areas, LSE has you covered near or far. 4130 is not just the chromoly tubing and plate used in the building of chassis for an array of motorsports applications, but it is also the name of the newest addition to the Pro Paddock with riders Jaden JJ Launderville and Max Lindquist, introducing the new 4130 Motorsports team. Launderville Steel offers a large selection of material for any project, including their concrete division that can supply everything you need to complete your next business or personal project. For a quote or more info, visit laundervillesteel.com today or give them a call at 715-675-6193. That's 715-675-6193. With a desire to keep you in the race, Ultimate Poly Products offers the Ultimate Protection collection of case savers, chain sliders, intake manifolds, and more. Founded on quality in 1998, this family-owned and operated business produces products created by racers for racers. These industry-leading products are proudly made and manufactured in the USA, with their case savers being made of the highest quality American-made polyurethane on the market and designed to completely conform to your engine case to help prevent case damage from a thrown chain, because no one wants to be a spectator on race day. Join top pro riders like Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, John Glotta Jr., Adam McGill, Cole Richardson, and more by using UPP Racing products. Use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com to save on your next order. Ultimate Poly Products, made to last longer so you can ride more. Thanks for listening, and remember to support our partners. Now back to the show. WMX. We got to talk about WMX, of course, Brian, and kind of notable this week that we added them to the fantasy game. So that added all kinds of excitement. Lily Plaza, Lily ends up going on to win the event. I'll let you talk about that. But her camp there asked that she not be put in the fantasy game, which honestly, we talked about this a little bit privately, but that left it so wide open that, my God, did that make it fun. I can't wait to see the pick trends between Fryer and who ends up, riding really well. And I mean, everybody like Joyner had been on a hot streak coming into this one. I didn't even know who to pick, Brian. So what a wide open pick. I argued online or kind of posted in some of our posts to letting people know WMX is in, and I don't know who you're going to pick. Like, I feel like this was the widest open pick we've ever had in any of the tiers ever in this game. And it sure made things fun on Saturday. And not only that, but those ladies were ripping. Like, some of the racing we saw was awesome. So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah. So like you said, it made it really cool because, Budds Creek, Lane didn't show up. She wasn't there. So coming into this one, with those picks available, and then Lily being pulled out of the choices there, like you said, it made it very interesting. And I felt like that would open up the choices for a lot of people because, when you start looking at it and you're trying to play the odds, you're like, okay, Cabrando, she's from that area, yep. That might be her home track. We're going to play into that. Like you said, Olivia's been riding really well, not to mention India has been really on a tear lately, that she's healing and getting better, getting faster, putting some time in. You have Klutwick that's been putting in the time too. She's fast on any given race day. So there was a lot of factors involved that I thought, man, it could play out pretty interesting. So Moto 1 comes about and, Lily rips a whole shot, but she's got Lane right in tow. And they put in some really good laps together, just tight. And Lane was showing her some wheel here and there. And then she finally, at one point, Lily made a little bit of a mistake and Lane got a good drive and she kept on it. She made the pass and then she made it stick.
The pass on the off camber? Is that where it happened? I thought Lily went to the bottom, right? Lily went to the bottom. Fryer stays on top. I thought that was where the pass was made. Maybe
there was so many close passes. To be honest right now, I can't recall exactly where she made the pass that she stuck. Because I know she showed wheels a lot. Like Lily was looking over a lot. Like there was a lot of head turn going on there.
We should mention too that, I was told by a couple of you coming into the race day that Lily was hurting. So I didn't know if we were getting full Lily Plaza experience. At first, it almost looked like like I almost thought she gave it to Lane for a second, like I didn't know what she was doing. And then Lane friggin' holds on to this thing,
Yeah, she was riding great. I thought maybe there was either a fatigue factor or I didn't know if, I knew that she had that injury, something about her like shoulder, arm, a nerve tension and going numb. And I thought, well, maybe she can't feel her hand or, then somebody said she was on crutches. So I don't know what's going on there. I talked to Len once or twice throughout the weekend. He never said anything. I never seen her out and about that I could tell if she was on crutches or what was happening.
Gotcha.
And like I said, I just felt like there was pressure there. And then maybe that wore down if she had something going on. But anyways, Lane made the pass Moto 1 and then kind of gapped it out a little bit and held on for it. Lily just kind of rode it in home. So, that one was pretty eventful in the respect that it mixed things up, and then I believe Shelby had a really good moto. India had a good moto. Joyner came up through, had a really good moto. Gracie didn't ride quite like I expected her to there. I know she's sends it and everything. For the most part, I've seen the bigger jumps, but I don't think I've seen any of the girls do the triple after the finish line, which I expected them to be doing. And nobody had done that at all. So I was kind of surprised by that. But then Moto 2 came around. Lily grabs a whole shot again. And I felt like there was even more looking back that moto. And I felt like she was just trying to manage and try and stay out front if she could.
Yeah.
I don't want to say there was a lot of swerving going on or anything like that, but I know there was a lot of looking that went on, turning around from Lily.
So I thought that too, not to interrupt you, but I thought that too. I'm like, she's there,
Oh yeah. She was down. And I was kind of like, are you trying to hold her up to wear her out? Or, are you just trying to stay just enough ahead of her? Cause that's a dangerous game to play that, somebody jukes you pretty good and then commits. That's a good way to both of them will end up on their head because it frustrates normally the person behind because they're like, I'm here, I'm coming for you.
I'm taking my shot.
Show me the line. And then if somebody keeps turning around, it just makes you more aggravated because you're most of the time then they're not holding their line.
For sure.
So you're like, at some point in time, I'm going to send it or I'm going to take a shot and, either we're both going to end up on our heads or I'm going to make a pass. So I thought that was possibly dangerous, but
more than anything, I think highly enough of Lily's riding that I'm like, you don't need to be doing that,
Right. I think she was doing just enough.
Gotcha.
Like I said, I don't know what was going on there. I can't speculate. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I just know from what I seen, she was looking a lot. So I was thinking that I didn't think anything was wrong with the bike. I felt like she was trying to just manage whatever she could just to stay in front to get that win at that point.
Gotcha.
So she ended up, she got the overall lane, obviously got second. And then I want to throw a shout out to little Canadian ice princess, India. Finally got on the podium. She got her third place. Yeah. Rode a great race. I totally expected Shelby to be able to catch up, make a pass, and India was able to hold her off all the way through. So she got third overall.
Great racing. I was happy for Lane to get over the hump to get that Moto 1 win. That was cool. She raced really hard in that second moto. And like you said, I mean, they were bumper to grab bar throughout the second moto there. India rode awesome. Like you said, she goes 4-3 for third overall. Cabrando goes 3-4 for fourth overall. She had a really good points day to sit inside the top three in the points here late in the season. Then Olivia Joyner, she was way back. I don't know if something happened in the first moto, but she came from way back, like last.
The great.
Oh, really? That's what it was.
I'm pretty sure it was the start. Again,
well, I was paying very close attention, Brian, because she was my fantasy pick. So Olivia Joyner comes in with 2 second overalls coming in. I'm like, she's getting hot at the right time. You kept telling us that she's been getting healthier, all these things, and then she really had to come from a ways back in that first moto, and maybe
she rode great.
And then maybe if the greats are playing havoc with her, same thing she might have been leery of at second moto, and because typically she's like up front in the starts, and that just wasn't the way it played out on this race weekend.
Yep. So make sure to watch those girls too, because Cabrando, Fryer, Olivia, I'm not sure exactly where Indy is, but all those girls, if I'm not mistaken, are very, very tight in points.
They are
very tight.
They are.
So that's going to play out, like with us talking about the next race being really possibly a choppy, rough race, and then going to Briarcliff. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out these next couple rounds too. So I'm sorry, go back to what you're saying.
I was just going to say, who did the WMX expert have on his fantasy team?
I had Lane.
You did?
Yeah.
If it would have been like a couple races ago, like I felt like she was clearly P2. She was the Brandon Hogue to this WMX class, but I feel like things had went in the Joyner direction of late, where it seemed like Joyner was P2. So I had went with Joyner, and like I said, I didn't necessarily think Pleasure Valley looked like that's where the works rider was going to shine, but that's how it played out. She was awesome. She was the best she's been all year, which was fun to see.
I was waiting till I seen what Shelby was going to throw into the mix, because Shelby, if she goes there and she's hungry, and I watched to see if she did the triple. And when I seen that she didn't do the triple, I was like, I don't know if she's feeling comfortable or she's feeling it maybe. But
Her starts were better this weekend.
Yeah. On the grading of all things, like, dude.
Hey, you need to get some tips from her.
Hey, you aren't lying, and I am not too proud to ask anybody. I was literally asking people. I'm like, listen, guys, like legit. Michelle we would film each other, and then we could break it down. We could see, and I was like, I got nothing, man. I got nobody helping me. Suspension, telling me the dumb stuff I'm doing, and I need all that help. So I'm not above asking. Trust me.
That's awesome.
Brian, you can come over anytime. You know that, buddy.
Well, hey, I think I'll talk to you later. I think somebody's practicing this weekend. We might need to go.
Oh, okay.
So, Billy, who did you have on your fantasy team? The first WMX pick. Shelby.
I picked Shelby. Yeah, I thought she was going to come in hot.
Solid pick. It was, like I said, it was fun. The way it played out, it was so wide open. To think that, generally, like the way some of these pro tiers have been, like so many people have the same picks. So the fact that the three of us were sitting here with different picks and in this WMX tier is pretty cool thing. Guys, you got anything else? Like, I feel like we've talked about just about everything we can about Pleasure Valley. I've been so much looking forward to this one.
We didn't talk about the relay, the remix race.
Yes, you're right. I was what
are you talking about, Cody?
We got
all kinds of things to talk about.
Right. You're right. Okay.
And the hot shot. Don't forget the hot shot.
I didn't know anything about the hot shot. I didn't know anything about that.
What the hot shot? There was 3 different classifications that you could get in, and it basically, how I was told it worked, was your best. It went Saturday only. It was your best lap in the race. So if you ran multiple races, then you had multiple chances. You have all 4 laps, obviously.
Right, first fastest lap.
And they took your best lap and then threw that on the board with everybody else that signed up in your division. And
how did the divisions break down?
I think, what was it, Billy? The first division was like Pro-Am and A. And then the second one might have been like B and C. And then the third one was Vet.
No, that's where the mess up was, because when I went up there, my name wasn't in it.
Because I saw you on one of the lists, and I'm like, Billy should have this.
So what happened was, and I think it doesn't explain why 25 plus never got put into the vet group, but they messed up by adding Pro-Am, because Pro-Am was Sunday.
Oh.
So then when they re-put in all of the stuff, like, because I went in there, because I had talked to you and my name wasn't on the list and everybody was confused. And when they re-put in everybody's finishes, it added Sunday's times too, because of Pro-Am being on Sunday.
Oh.
So it kind of stinks for them, because they messed up by paying out some people on Saturday. Well, then when I did that on Sunday, I got bumped to first place. So they had to pay first place again. I don't know how many people they had to pay, how many times they had to pay twice, but I know at least in my aspect, because they gave Powers his first place money on Saturday. And then when they put all the things together, I bumped them down and they ended up paying me first place money too.
Right. And that's why it's
credit to Jeff.
Come to you, because I thought maybe they messed up, because vet's typically 30 plus. So I thought maybe they bumped you into a different division.
That's what I thought too. And then I said, I'm like, on the kiosk, when you looked at junior plus 25, it says eligible for, whatever hotshot tier we were in.
Right.
And that's the only reason I picked it.
I seen your name there. I was confused. And I didn't want to, you to get screwed out of anything, because I seen it and I knew what place I got.
Yeah.
I was playing the odds. I was the Vegas man. I was playing the table, man.
Yeah. We made some money on the hotshot thing and on the relay race. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's
nice.
Awesome. So can we get into this relay thing? Because I heard that there's some kind of controversy.
What?
Or something. There's something.
I know what it is.
So something, and because somebody said, ask Billy about this. It must have been tire touching situation.
Okay, so all right.
So set the scene with the whole relay thing in general. Like there's 8 teams, 4 riders. We already talked about this, on some of the previous episodes. Pro-am or A rider, vet rider, women rider, right?
Yeah. So what happened was there ended up being 7 teams because Hoag's team backed out.
Okay.
We were going to do it Friday. We went up. They were still trying to have us do it in the rain. We went up. A couple people tried to talk Jeff out of it. He wouldn't talk out of it. So then I talked Jeff into letting us vote. And every person except for one voted to do it Saturday. So we did it Saturday. Just to, the elephant in the room. I made 2 huge bonehead mistakes and Max had to bail me out both times. The first one being, so it was really cool to be.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot either. I know nothing about the situation.
This is great. So. I want him to tell the story.
All right. So it was really cool to be the pro, for Jeremiah to say I can be the pro sport rider until it came to racing pro sport riders. Because through the event, I had to go head to head against Newton, Korn, and Fancher.
Okay, that's pretty stacked.
So the first one, we were lucky and we had like 15 seconds or something by the time I took off.
Okay.
So I was like tiptoeing around the track. I knew I had all kinds of time. I didn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, Max had this idea that I could come in hot and slide sideways and hit like rear tire to his rear tire instead of like head-on collision kind of thing,
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I went in there
and you
came in kind of hot. Dude, I locked him up and I told my wife, I'm like, for the first time since I was like 5 years old, I couldn't spin the quad around. It was like ice skates and it just went straight and I slid right by him. And being that it didn't work, I like froze because I had no idea what to do. I couldn't believe that it didn't work. So I didn't know what to do. And finally, Max just like jumped off his quad and grabbed my front bumper and like bumped his quad and got back on and took off because I didn't know what to do.
Way behind, I might add.
Yeah, he put some work in, because of me, but it worked out.
Did you each do 1 lap? Was that how that worked?
Girls did 1 lap. Everybody else did 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because I think with the girls having to run to their quad, they ran, got on and did 1.
Yes, the Grand Prix. They ran like, I don't know, it was 10 or 15 feet, jumped on the quad, plugged in the kill and took off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which I want to make a note. Whoever was watching that, whatever Cabrando was doing, y'all need to train for that next year. I've never seen anybody start faster than that ever. I don't care, GNCC or anything. Like, she wasn't even the first one to the quad, and I don't even think her butt touched the seat, and it was already moving. I don't know what happened there, but it was fast.
Nice.
Legit.
Yeah.
So then tell me, so you advanced.
So Max
to the final.
Yeah. So Max ended up bailing me out. So then the next one, it was like dead even. And it was me and Korn. And I told Max, I'm like, you're going to have to bail me out again because, I know he's fast,
Yeah, right.
And he's like, well, if you take off at the same time, he's like, try and get ahead of him. He's like, if you get in front of him, just ride a wide quad.
Yeah.
And he's like, if anything, just keep it close He's like, it's 2-lap sprint. Just keep it close. He's like, and if you keep it close, I got it. And I'm like, okay, cool. We took off. I got ahead of him, held him off. And then just before the big triple, going up that staircase, basically where he did that triple.
Yeah.
I knew where he was. It was very predictable where he was going. I could feel him everywhere he went. So I did. I rode a wide quad and I kind of just, took his lines away everywhere. But he had me. He had me going up that staircase. He squared up, was on the left, took the inside. We're going down the hill before the triple. And I knew he had me. And I hugged the inside. I was just going to kind of let him go around me. Yeah. And there was some contact made on the way by that was a little unnecessary. And I stalled. And then it took me a minute to get it started again. And once I took off, I got up there, hit Max, and he bailed me out again.
Gotcha.
But yeah, when I got back, I kind of heard him talking trash a little bit about me leaving the door wide open, which I left it wide open on purpose because I was letting him go. He had me beat. Yeah. And, I think I was a defense mechanism. He's maybe embarrassed a little bit. I don't blame him because, somebody whose prime was probably before he was born held him up for 2 laps. But, just want to, it's not, if anybody thinks I'm throwing shade, I am. But,
good stuff, man.
That was funny stuff. It was great racing, though, Cody. It really was so fun to watch.
So fun.
And there was so many people there at the bridge and, right there on the infield on both sides watching that.
Yeah.
It was very, very fun to watch because they moved the finish line too. I don't know if you knew that, Cody. They didn't have the finish line over on the straightaway. They had it right there before the bridge where the handoffs were taking place. Yeah. So it was right amongst where everybody was able to stand and watch. So it just brought so much more interaction and people to it. It was fun. Once they got it moving, it was coordinated very well. I felt like it was maybe a little chaos at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
But once it got rolling, it went really well. It went quick. It was smooth. They had everything figured out when the people went out, all that. So it was super, super fun to watch. So it really was. It was great entertainment. And I want to say, Max, holy cow. I've never seen that kid ride as good as he did. And it was a sprint. He even said, he goes, I'm not a sprinter. I was like, I don't know what you're doing or what bike you're on, but you need to do that all the time. It was crazy. Like, what was it? That one race, he was like 3 straightaways behind Norris and he caught him in 1 lap.
It was I think 8 seconds or something at one point.
It was stupid. It was a huge lead. And I don't know if he just went out putting around because he's like, yeah, that'll never happen. And next thing you know, Max was right there. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then he passed him. Like,
he bailed me out. And that's why I told him, I'm like, maybe I was doing him a favor because he rides so good from behind, He
was riding angry from earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So that was basically just about every message I got about this team race was about how well Max was riding. And like, man, if he could just ride like that during the races, he'd be the one, giving Joel a run.
He was flying.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it was, oh my God. I've never seen him ride like that.
That last one, Mason's team was on point there. They had us. That's when I was with Fancher, and I was probably, I don't know, what do you think, Brian? 6 seconds behind him or something like that. And I couldn't put any time on him. I couldn't help Max at all. I think I kept the gap about the same, but I didn't gain nothing. And I think one more lap or something, though. I think Max might have had it, but it was close there at the end.
I was like, they should have negotiated that for the finale. Was one more lap for everybody or something, and then it would have been interesting.
It was fun, and we were talking about how Max is like, they need to implement this more often because of how good it is for spectators. It's so much better than the long motos are good for people like us who, can really get into it, but a spectator needs
action.
Yeah, all the time, constant action. And he's like, in the middle of the day, Saturday, that would be perfect. He's like, but nobody would run it because they have their second motor to come.
I actually think that, like you guys mentioned earlier, the fact that it was Saturday night was the right time for it, because Friday night being before the races, you're not going to get as much leave it all out there from any of the riders. But especially like with the pros having already raced their meaningful race day, like now everybody's in to have a little fun. And that was really cool. That's when it played out. I've done the relay thing, but only on dirt bikes. And for whatever reason, maybe because these races for so many years were just strictly an ATV National, like we're not doing anything necessarily just for fun. I never even crossed my mind to do something like this with ATVs, but what a cool thing. What an awesome thing. It was fun to see all the excitement and the teams being assembled. And I think, Billy, we knew like you guys had a pretty darn good team. But I think when I saw the Kinsey, Fancher, Mason, Powers. I when I saw that team, I'm like, that's a damn good team right there. That's going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, I knew it was going to take a mistake from one of them, and none of them made one. So it was fun. We had a blast, though. Yeah, it was cool. I was honored to be a part of it.
That's awesome.
Tammy messaged me pretty early that morning when they announced it and was like, "Hey, do you want to be on team with Max?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it was sweet." And she's like, "Yeah, Jeremiah wants you to be the vet rider." And I'm like, "Sweet." And then like 2 days later, she's like, "Hey, Jeremiah said you're the pro sport rider now." Like, what happened? And she's like, "Don't worry about it, but you're the pro sport rider." I'm like, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, it was a great idea until I saw the people I had to go head to head against. I'm like,
Korn,
great.
Korn, Newton, and Fancher. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's what I
cool.
wanted.
Some of the 3 fastest amateurs in the country.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, guys, I'm like, take it easy on me. That's what Fancher told me. He's like, take it easy on me. I'm like, you take it easy on me. I'm old. It's been a long day.
Good stuff.
I'm waiting for fireworks.
Yeah. They're like, what do you need? Noah's on the side. He's like, Bill, you need anything? I'm like, yeah, Copenhagen and a course.
Oh my God. That's awesome. That's awesome. What a cool thing. I couldn't wait to talk about the team race, all the excitement. You could tell it was a blast. And
yeah, it was really fun.
Just made the event feel like something totally different than what we're used to in the best way possible. And that was a really cool thing. So credit to everybody involved that came up with the idea and rolling it out for the ATVs, and what an awesome thing. Yeah, I'm sure it's not going to be the only time. People are going to be begging for it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll be ready for it next year.
So I think so. It was fun. I mean, even if they did a 90 version of that, added a couple different aspects, I think it would still be fun. Like, that would be so awesome.
That'd be sweet for a pit bike race.
Yeah.
That's where my experience is, doing it at pit bike races. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We need a dealership to donate us 8 TRX 90s.
and don't wish to have them back.
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
That's not awesome. In the condition that they were given anyways.
Right. Right. Well, boys, what an epic event, right? Epic event from the top down, from the pro racing to the pro sport, pro am, WMX, the team race, so many amateur classes. It was awesome. From top to bottom, what an epic event. Pleasure Valley always brings the best out of the series, I feel like, and this year was no different. Like I was starting to say before I just about, blew off the team race. I was going to say that I've been looking forward to this one all year long, being that we knew Billy was going to be there. Brian, you're at all these events, and this one's close to home, sort of, for both of you guys. So I knew that this was going to be a fun one to talk about, and it's just got us primed. It was a blast to talk about it. This is probably the longest one we've had all year, and it's got me, primed and feeling good going into last 2 rounds of the season here. A lot to still be decided. A lot going on in the series. A lot of talking points. We got a lot of stuff. I had joked when we sat down for this conversation that there's been a lot of things that happened, and there are a lot of things to talk about since the last time we sat down for one of these. And I'm sure that that's going to be no different between now and 2 weeks from now, when the dust is settled on the next round at Baja. 2 weeks from now, we might already have a pro champion. It's probably more, it is more likely than not that we will, and it could likely happen after the first moto there for Joel Hetrick. But we got guys like Brandon Hogue and the rest of the crew that is going to want to do everything they can to stop that from happening. So should be fun. But like I always say, I can't thank you guys enough, especially you guys were just at Pleasure Valley yesterday. So fun to do these things right away when everything is fresh and the excitement is there, and we can't wait to get the things out into the open and talk about it. So I can't thank you guys enough when you probably are still, tired and wore out and have things to clean, things to pick up, all the things. I know how it goes. I appreciate you making some time for me, making a lot of time for me tonight to talk about the races. I just love these conversations so much, and was bummed to miss this one. That wasn't the plan, but excited to be at the last few and last couple that are left, and should be a good stretch run of the season here. But as always, like I always say, you guys mean so much to Digging Deep. I just appreciate Billy, appreciate Brian. I appreciate both you guys so much. You guys bring so much to the show. Couldn't do it without you. Just appreciate you guys so much. And that kind of puts a wrap on another great race review show here for us.
Sounds good, man. I love it as always.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate it as well. I just think that the platform is great for us to be able to interact with the fan base and racers and everybody that's out there. And, for us to get the information out and be positive and, fans of the sport and racers like we are, I think that that's pretty relevant and a staple that should always be there in some way, shape, or form for everyone.
Yeah, it's just cool for us to be sitting here with Billy. He's a race winner. He's a finalist.
OG.
He's obviously an OG. He's a legend, Brian. He's a legend. He was in the Legends race. He wins Pleasure Valley. He's in the final of the relay thing. We're
okay, guys.
But it is cool. Like I like the fact that it just brings more credibility to the name. It's awesome. I think it shows that not that I need any convincing, but for the listeners that weren't around 20 years ago when Billy was making his waves, it's cool to show, man, this guy's very relevant. He's very still into it, still knows all the things that are going on. And this is why we should listen to him. I love it. Still going fast.
Still goes way fast.
It was cool too. I got shout out while we were there from, I don't know how many people. And so many of them that I didn't even know people knew who I was. There was like, oh, we love listening to you guys. And, Marshall Smith was one of them. I got to meet Marshall. I never talked to him before. And we talked for a long while. And that's why he called me over to say how much he really enjoys listening to us. So I'm like, that's cool, man.
That's cool. Yeah, that is cool.
Marshall's great.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy. And Cody, I filmed my video. I was representing.
I loved it. I told you saw my comment. I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. The amateur hole shot. But
looked awesome. But
Powers family again.
Yeah, that was cool. Brian always says, Billy, that and maybe I've been doing this for a number of years now, but Brian brings up and points out the fact that so many people listen and comment about it and talk about listening and all the things that I definitely don't take it for granted, but I've been hearing that for so many years that it's cool that you guys get that too. That makes me feel good that people are liking what you guys bring to the show. Cause like I say, nobody wants to listen to me talk for 2 hours about what happened at the races. I think it's cool. Like I said, during the date today, I was looking forward to the fact that you guys were both there and we're excited to talk about it. I just couldn't wait to kind of sit back and see what you guys had to say. So like I said, long-winded way of saying, I can't thank you guys enough for all that you do. And we sure do appreciate you here.
No, thank you for including me. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm excited we'll all get to be together the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm going to look forward to.
Well, boys, again, thanks so much for everything you guys do, and get a little rest up for the rest of your week. And thankfully, Baja's right around the corner. It's going to feel like we're going to be on our way to be together about a day or two from now. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And in the meantime, I just can't thank you enough for all that you do for us.
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you.
Can't wait. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. I'll see you, guys. Billy. See you, Cody.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much. That's Brian Jenkins and Billy Cottage signing off on the Digging Deep ATV MX podcast brought to you by Valvoline. Have a good night, guys. Thanks so much.
See you, man. Thank you.
All right, guys, just like that, another killer episode in the books. Major thanks to Brian Jenkins and Billy Cottage for joining the show once again this week as our featured guests. Thanks to producer Dallas Jansen, my brother, for all his hard work. Thanks to my wife, Brooke, and thanks to AMA officials Joe Messina and Harv Whipple. Thanks to all of our donors. And special shout out to Motomom's Designs for doing all our shooting at the races. You're the best, Megan. Thanks to all of our partners, CST Tires. Go to shop.csttires.com today. Yamaha, thanks to Blue Crew. Thanks to SSI Decals, Valvoline, DID Racing Chain, Lauderdale Steel Enterprises, and Concrete Supply. In Ultimate Poly Products, UPP Racing, use discount code DIGGINGDEEP15 at uppracing.com. Support all the brands that support our show, and don't forget to use those codes to save. Find it all on our website, and be sure to click that Rocky Mountain ATVMC banner for all your gear and parts needs, and to help us out with a small slice in the process. And most of all, thanks to you guys for listening. Shop our Digging Deep merch at shop.diggingdeepatvmx.com. Find all things Digging Deep ATV Fantasy at atvfantasy.com. And congrats to our lone round 7 winner, Dakota Shull. Congrats to Dakota on your round 7 victory. Leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show, 920-569-3519. If you're looking for another easy way to help support us, visit our website and click the Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee buttons. This allows you to set up a one-time or monthly contribution to support our efforts. Follow the show on social media, Digging Deep ATVMX Podcast, and myself, Cody Jansen, for additional content, coverage, and more fun stuff as we only have 2 rounds remaining in this ATV Motocross National Championship season. You can find it all on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find the Digging Deep ATVMX podcast. All episodes, additional podcast providers, sponsor links, and discount codes, show merchandise, fantasy info, and more can all be found on our website, diggingdeepatvmx.com. So check that out today. Be a friend, tell a friend. Please download, subscribe, rate, review, and share. And with that, for Billy Cottage, Brian Jenkins, Brooke Jansen, Dallas Jansen, and I'm your host, Cody Jansen. Thanks for listening to and making us the most listened to podcast in ATV racing, with nearly 304,000 downloads last month in 151 total countries. Until next time, thanks for joining us in Digging Deep with the Stars of ATV Motocross. Things are crashing and burning here at the Digging Deep podcast, much like the Titanic.
Those guys were hauling ass. For real.
I remember watching Doug Gus, I don't know who it was, Steel City, running the same times Friday afternoon as James Stewart was on Sunday back then. It was mental. I've never seen quads go that fast.
Quad leaders are freaking gnarly.